The mountain and ocean are the principal reasons the owner has a home here, so they had to define the design of his beachfront house. Commuting to his business in Nelspruit, it's a getaway where you eat, sleep and play in full sight of the city's great landmark. It boasts a contemporary style with an African twist by interior architectural designer Renee De Waal.
So welcome to this humble abode.
Wow, and look at that view, that is incredible. Absolutely stunning.
You can't, it's undeniable.
And you had a blank canvas to work with because it was an old rundown house, no one was living here.
Yes.
As a designer, that's really awesome because you've got a blank canvas.
It was, and also the client was quite open to our ideas. We were stuck in the old house with aluminium doors which didn't capitalize on the views at all. And the client absolutely has a love a relationship with the ocean. So we try to open up the areas as much as possible and also to integrate your various sections so that it felt more than open space.
And I see you've done quite clever things there with the wine cellar and also the fireplace, kind of transparent, which opens it up even more.
Yes. So the original kitchen was there, but it was far more open and less intimate. So we tried to create intimate spaces without taking away from the sea views. That's like a weed sheath, and the transparency allowing the two rooms to communicate with one another. And at night, with illumination, the wine bottles actually pop and become like a feature of the living room space. And then the fireplace, as understated as it appears, that is a beautiful element that connects your dining room with your living room and brings a huge amount of atmosphere in wintertime.
And the great thing about this side of Cape Town is you get the view of the mountain. Because I know that just around the corner, we should have that view, right? There's literally 360-degree views with nothing on either side. And I love how this is a great example of how you can bring nature indoors.
Yes.
With just simple things like using wooden furniture and stone on the steps and the different textures you've used, the color and the textures you've used on the couches. It just feels like you're outdoors and camping almost.
The Walnut coffee table is a modern take on something you might discover on a beach, and it's set in a color scheme of greys and blues which reflect the rugged beauty of the West Coast. The diesel denim leather and a rug reflecting the shoreline complete the look.
This was also quite a challenging space because we utilized so much of it for the view that you end up with this kind of wasted space that you don't really have much to do with. So instead of just having a blank wall, is to create some textural elements and interest. We custom designed this wall unit for him, brought some textural metal elements in which enhances the masculinity again. Used a product called Monocoat to wash the wood so that it gives that enhances the grain look in it. And then just styled it with beautiful objects and artifacts that you curate and find that enhances the personality of the client.
The showpieces are by a designer who grew up sailing, honed his carpentry skills by refitting yachts, and now custom makes furniture.
These Andrew Dominic pieces are absolutely incredible. They're like beautiful artworks on their own.
You cannot not notice the passion that he invests into every one of his pieces, and that's why, as a client, it's an investment art piece, I believe.
It's proudly South African.
Yes.
And this area has a lot of attention and detail. I can see a lot's gone into it because this is the first thing you're going to see when you walk through the door, apart from the view, obviously.
The nice thing about any customized item is, as much as this is one of the Andrew Dominic's signature tables, we got him to proportionate to the exact length that the client's space required. And what I like about his table leg is it echoes the angular lines that we've brought throughout the space, which was inspired by nature, the vein of a leaf. And then we got him to manufacture a custom-made server unit over there, and we offset it again with the bleached oak and walnut, which echoes quite nicely. It's a nice continuation through from the space.
Irregular size and shaped windows draw your eye to the African painting between them, which sets the tone for the dining room, in the same way that a slab of Grigio Argento stone does for the kitchen.
So this is one of my favorite spaces in the house, purely because this is where our appointment on the project actually started. And the client approached us, and his first words to me was, "I need help with my kitchen." So we went through couple of layout propositions, but I kept coming back to the point that that needed to lead out into a central courtyard. And so that's how the central courtyard evolved. And we created a rock textural wall there to bring in the natural close to the experience of the kitchen. And this was one of the first granite slabs that we curated with a client on a shopping spree. He fell in love with it and he said, I want this in my house, I don't care where you use it, whether it's on a wall. And so it ended up being his island unit in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's got that feel, a similar feel to the artwork in the dining room, because it feels like everything else has kind of taken shape around this central artistic piece.
100% correct. That's why everything else was kept quite muted, so that it leads your eyes through, and then I think it echoes quite nicely with that textural wall at the back. And we then created a nice cantilever bench there so you can sit and have your breakfast outside in the most wind-sheltered area, northeastern sun in the mornings.
These are all great examples also to viewers of how to see a space as a whole rather than isolated, because the way everything's thought out, you're always kind of looking through down a line and everything's working together so beautifully.
Yes, I'm very pleased to hear that you're experiencing it that way.
To invest in a feature which adds value to a property, Renee recommends these.
The floating chandelier, the floating staircase, it's all very contemporary, as well as this kind of see-through elements.
The original structure was very dated, and so we opted to demolish it entirely, start from scratch. And so we went for very minimalistic lines, wanted to create a floaty look. That's why we went for an open feel over here, which complies with safety regulations. Safety glass with a floating chrome balustrade, and that was echoed on this wall. And as a final touch, we brought in a transparent stainless steel chandelier. And this entire experience leads you up to the master bedroom, which is the master view.
Perfect entrance.
And this is the master bedroom with that view.
I can't even... I have no words. This is absolutely incredible. This is like a painting. It doesn't look real.
Because we had the opportunity to harness in on this beautiful view, we gutted this entire room and constructed the bathroom behind it and pulled this headboard wall forwards so that you would create more of a picture view as you wake up in the mornings. And the back area was now left with a little bit less light, so we clad all of that in mirrors and created little apertures of light popping through so that it wouldn't compromise utility in that room. And we created a beautiful bathroom where if you're lying in your bath, you've got the views of Table Mountain and the ocean, lavishing over a glass of bubbly.
It almost feels like you're floating above the dunes and into the ocean.
The owner has set his bedroom in a peaceful, separate wing from his soon-to-be teenage children. Renee was careful not to use designs they would soon grow out of. The dreamy opulence of the daughter's room and the pixelated sports-themed graphic of the son's bedroom are subtle and sophisticated, in keeping with the overall style.
Oh, it's just the perfect place to end a long day, right?
100% in the perfect weather.
And it just shows you like a low-maintenance garden doesn't necessarily have to mean it's not pretty. It can actually work really well.
So that was our goal, is to achieve a low-maintenance garden for the client's up-and-go lifestyle. And we also wanted to bring in some textural elements with patches of grass, the bamboo deck, which is sustainable and low maintenance, and then these tufts of grass that conceal the palisade fence with your view through to the ocean.
As a presenter, it's one of those really difficult houses to kind of explain to the viewer, because you really have to be here. You have to feel that sea breeze on your face, you've got to smell the ocean air. It really is one of those experiential houses.
And for us, it was a very fulfilling project to work on from conception to completion. It was a 2-year process, but in the end, I think, you know, looking back at all the elements come together, it was one of our standout projects.
Well, you've done an amazing job, and I think it's time now to just take a step back, take it all in, and appreciate the beautiful work that you've done.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Between living in rich subtropical Mpumalanga or this sparse beauty of the West Coast, this family chose both.